If you're exasperated with the lack of curiosity and focus from the children you teach, then today's episode is going to give you the tools and strategies you need to re-engage those students and spark curiosity, that essential ingredient for lifelong learning. In the 14 plus years that I've been teaching in early childhood, I have seen the change in children right in front of my very own eyes. When I looked at these disengaged children, I saw that these were not children that were naughty or that were disengaged on purpose, because children always want to please, right? There was something else going on. Of course, parenting over the years has changed, and this generation of children have had more exposure to screens than any generation before them. So I paused and I asked myself, what can I do? How can I re-engage these children? What will excite them? What will intrigue them? And what I discovered was that children love getting stuck in. Hands-on learning is the key ingredient to getting children involved in their own learning, because screens are passive. But when you're involved in your learning, you're doing the work. And actually, we were made for work. You know that, right? When you're successful or when you're working and you've achieved something, you've put a goal in place and you work towards it and you achieve your goal, that gives you satisfaction. Well, children are exactly the same. They love getting stuck in and doing the work and then seeing the product of their hard work and feeling proud of what they've done. And so when I hit on this and I realized that I've got to teach every single thing in a way where children could do the work, not me. We aren't supposed to be doing the work. Children must do the work of learning. So today I want to give you the 3 strategies that I used to re-engage children in my class. And I'm just going to look at my notes for a second. So first, the hands-on learning. Let me ask you, do you remember fondly anything you ever learned at school? Do you remember those worksheets that you had to fill out? Now, I'm not saying that banish all worksheets. There is a time and a place for worksheets, and sometimes they are necessary. But a worksheet should not ever be our go-to strategy for teaching. There are other ways, much more exciting ways, not just for the students, but for you too, that you can actually use to get them curious, to get them interested. And it's through hands-on learning that they actually have a better understanding of the concepts that you're trying to teach. So if I think back to my childhood, I have no fond memories of filling in worksheets. In fact, I have no memories at all about anything like that. I'll tell you what I do remember. I remember, I think I was 8, seriously knitting a cover for a coat hanger and making pom-poms with a fork. That's what I remember. I remember growing beans in window boxes on a windowsill and tracking them and watching them with so much excitement and curiosity, because they were in front of a window with lots of light and these things were going up and up and up. And I think I was about, I don't know, 8 or 9 at the time. And I remember in high school, in biology, the teacher brought in a tapeworm. Fascinating stuff. And I laid this thing out. People must have thought I was a real wacko. I was laying out this thing, and finding the scolex, the head of this tapeworm. This was me doing the learning. That's what I remember, doing the learning. I remember my art classes fondly. Why? Because I was creating, I was painting the pictures. I remember them, but I don't remember worksheets. The second point is about a hook. You need something to pull children in, right? It can be some living critter. It can be a picture, maybe even a macro shot, a really close-up picture of a gross insect or something that's going to just spark their curiosity. It could be a movie clip. It could be a piece of text, controversial, I don't know, newspaper article. It can be anything. I remember bringing in a little felt penguin. The dog had chewed off one flipper. And this penguin became the start of a story. We created a story about how this penguin may have lost its flipper. And then, of course, this thing went into, now let's go learn about penguins. Where do we find them? What do they eat? Where do they live? Different types of penguins. Just that one little, one flippered felt, actually it was a Christmas decoration, led to so much learning. And the kids were curious and they all came up with all these different ideas about how this penguin could have lost its flipper. Something so silly, something so simple that just sparked these children into action. And the third point is that it had to be easy for me. There was no time to add extra to my workload. It had to be easy to implement and become part of the fabric of my planning and teaching. And so I know that so many of you out there, so many teachers, it doesn't matter whether you teach in a classroom or whether you teach at your kitchen table. There's so much to get through, and so many times people feel overwhelmed by everything. And so what I did was I took these strategies that I was implementing in my own class so successfully, and I've put them together in a little mini course, little mini professional development, if you want to call it that, called Curiosity Without Chaos. And in this course, I give you the tools, the strategies, and the templates to help you plan with curiosity, to bring curiosity into everything that you do, to make it part of the fabric of your teaching and of your planning and of your pedagogy. So if you're watching on YouTube, I will leave a link to Curiosity Without Chaos in the description for you. If you're listening on podcast, I will leave it for you in the show notes. I promise you that Curiosity Without Chaos will bring back not only the joy for you in your teaching, because once kids are engaged, teaching again becomes joyful, right? Once you get these simple tips that you can put into place without adding to your workload, everything is going to shift. And if you want to know more about simple strategies to engage students, I'm going to leave a video link somewhere here on how you can easily engage children and get them more curious. And by the way, if you'd like to subscribe to Get Curious, my weekly newsletter, there'll be a link for you as well in the show notes or in the description where you can sign up and get weekly inspiration from me. Until next time, be blooming curious and take care of yourself.